Good evening, Twitch. It's that time again for the Game AI show. It's Wednesday evening, and today we're going to be playing in our new game, new week series, or new week, new game. I probably ought to know which way around that goes. Anyway, we are going to be playing a new game because that's what we do. We do exactly what it says on the tin. And today we're going to be playing a game that I actually don't know what to expect from. So it's a game called shit. Very well organized today. Intelligent Design, an evolutionary sandbox. So this came up in my Steam queue a while ago, and I put it on my wish list because it sounded kind of interesting. And I'm looking forward to digging into this and kind of finding out what all's going on and what the deal is. My understanding, based on kind of the store page, is that it's an evolution simulator. There's kind of a whole bunch of genetic algorithms-y type things going on behind the scenes. And I'm going to be really interested to kind of dig into that, because that kind of experience is actually what got me into game AI in the first place. So back when I was a snotty little teenager, probably about 13 years old, I started playing a game at the time. It was called Creatures. Now, there's been a whole bunch of sequels and kind of reboots of this franchise ever since, but the kind of core of the original Creatures was that it was an artificial life simulator. And it had a whole bunch of Lamarckian inheritance and neural nets, and you had... the way I describe it is like it was a Tamagotchi on steroids. It was little furry creatures that you had a side-on view of their world, and you could train them things, and you could like teach them and get them playing with balls, and kind of they would breed, and they would pass on both kind of physical characteristics, but also some of their their learned behaviors down to their offspring. And it was all about kind of caring for and maintaining this kind of family unit, which was really exciting. But what was most interesting to me was, and bear in mind that I was about 13 or 14 at the time, the team that made this game actually spun out of the University of Cambridge, and when they called it an artificial life simulator, they meant that for realsies. They'd really put a lot of effort into all the kind of systems that drove it, and it was very kind of highbrow, cutting edge artificial intelligence, but kind of artificial life through artificial intelligence. And this would have been, if I was 13, this would have been like 96. So that gives you a sense of just how fucking old I am, but also a kind of insight into what's going on in 96 in the artificial intelligence world. So let's dive in here. Like I say, I actually don't know what to expect from this game. So actually, saying that, I don't know if this game's even going to fucking start, because I have not tried it out. I didn't do a mic check. I have been a little bit terrible. I was for some reason my Wednesdays tend to be running late at work, and then I have to dash back for this. Sure. And I also have not set up my game capture device. Let me just do that right now. So you're looking at a black screen, and now hopefully you're looking at the game. Okay. Alright. So this is a bit strange immediately. I don't know where the cubes tie in with the theme of the intelligent design stuff. I'm not actually hearing any audio from this, and I don't know if it's just me. There's a thing that says it's got soundtrack. Alright, let's try clicking that. I can put this microphone away, because it's not this microphone that drives anything. I guess there's like a... Let me crank this up a bit. So that might have the mix a little bit better now. So WASD is horizontal movement, shift and control are vertical movement, and that's already gone. Okay, congratulations on your appointment as an ecosystem engineer. Today's orientation will lay the foundations for your personal and professional development. Alright, next. You are controlling a drone on P5629 via satellite link. Horizontal motion is controlled using WASD. Okay, that checks out. Control the camera by holding down the middle mouse. That checks out. And they said shift and control was going to be vertical. That checks out. Okay, that's the next. This is the first time the drone has been operating in 36 years, so take it slow. Organisms and buildings will be transported to P5629 using point-to-point wormhole technology. The cursor indicates if a wormhole can be established. Green means you are within range of a radar, and red means you are not. Point-to-point wormhole technology and radar feels somewhat backwards. Radar is not related to wormholes. The large structure is a radar, I'm assuming this thing. Move your cursor over it to see its range. That doesn't seem to be doing much. Oh, okay. So if I look down, then I can see that this is the range and that is outside of it. You can also toggle the force field around the radar to trap organisms. Organisms can be requested using the heads-up display user interface. Left-click the random plants button and then right-click on the landscape where you want them to appear. Okay, let's do it. So this is exciting. We're actually putting something into the world. And there it is. Organisms, next. Nothing actually seems to have actually happened in there, though. Alright, key performance targets. Grow 10 wild plants. Build a research station. Research 1,000 plant science. Warping effect seems a bit weird. Oh, it's warping in seeds, I guess. Huh, this seems a bit strange. We have found that productivity has increased by 23.7% when employees have clear targets. At the top of the heads-up display, you can see the performance targets or objectives that you're required to meet. These have been designed to assist you in designing an effective ecosystem. Biomass from plants and the environment can be processed and used to fabricate buildings and building upgrades. Left-click the collector button and right-click where you wish to build it. The range of the collector will be indicated on your heads-up display. It will harvest biomass from plants within this range. Move your cursor over the collector to see how much. Oh, do I want to collect biomass yet? Alright.
Insufficient biomass.
Okay. I don't know what biomass is going to do for me, but it seems important. So, the extent to which there's like wind shear is interesting. Wow, this does kind of feel low fucking red. Alright, let's drop some more random plants. And if I'm right, then that's gonna get blown over in this wind again. It's gonna land somewhere here. Let's do a bit of time acceleration, see how we get on here. So those seeds landed somewhere here. also in the headset. Let me see if there's... There aren't any or... Oh, well... Let's just mute the music. Well... It would be nice to have independent audio options there. The key mission of our organization is to understand the genetic code of the organisms we are instantiating. Seems legit. Building research stations allows us to achieve this goal. Research stations will research organisms within their range. Build one now. To incentivize research, we allocate engineers biomass from the central reserves. At the same time, the price of subsequent research stations will increase. This is a measure designed to relieve pressure on our production lines. You can monitor overall research progress by enabling the science panel on the head. Okay. Wow, that's a really narrow field. Alright, research station there. Well, that research station killed off a bunch of shit, so oops. Let's drop some more plants here. So this is feeling... Wow, the wind's blowing a different direction. How the fuck do you tell which direction the wind's blowing? This is kind of feeling a little bit low rent. Like, this world is very obviously like a square of terrain. And even this feels like a low-ish rent. Unity game. This camera feels Unity-ish. The low poly assets. I'm interested in how the backing of it. Like, there's nothing wrong with low poly assets. There's nothing wrong with being a Unity game. But there's research the first plant gene. Okay, let's pop open the science panel. Alright, we need a little bit more biomass and we can upgrade this research station. There it is. And that got an extra stack on top of it. The effectiveness did that. Okay, cool. Research 1,000 plant science. Research the first plant gene. Create species of herbivores. Alright, let's create a species of herbivores. That seems doable. Alright, can I... How close to these dudes can I get? So they're now eating those plants, I guess. Okay. So I have enough to unlock my first plant. What's that button for? Now enable the genetics panel to engineer your first custom plant. Ah, custom plant. Here we go. Height I guess we get to set the height of the plant as a result of this. This doesn't feel... So there's a weird honey thing billboarding there. Well, not... It kind of... It's popping out, but it's not actually billboarding to the camera. It's billboarding on the world, or just holding alignment. So I've had to rotate around to figure out what the hell that fucking thing says. Which is basically telling me the speed that that research station is researching on. Cool. Humans perform on average 74.9% better when competing with each other. For this reason, we have developed an anonymous league table of our ecosystem engineers. Each night at midnight, your current world score will be updated in the league. The engineers directly above and below you in the league will be displayed. We have found not disclosing the formula which calculates the world score results in a statistically significant increase in creative thinking. That feels kind of wrong. But also it feels like it would be very easy to fake. Like, is that actually like... So it's coming up here in the top right. I just noticed that I'm on a left camera today. That wasn't my intention, but okay. It's coming up here in the top right, but like, I feel like I would probably fake that instead of making it real. This concludes your orientation. Okay, cool. Well, I don't feel super well oriented, to be honest. So I'm not really... feeling the game element of this. Like, okay, I guess it's sandbox E. But like... I'm having more of a game experience trying to make the fucking plants land in the area that this thing is going to research. More so than anything else. Deathbow says that I'm on the opposite side of the screen and it's messing with her worldview. So let me address that. If I do this, hopefully it will make Deathbow a little bit happier. Also, hi Deathbow. I hope you have had a great day today. So I want to build 3 research stations. The next one's going to cost me 900. I've now got 5,500. So let's put up another research station. Maybe let's put it there. And the next one's going to cost me 1,080. So let's put that there. That's going to cross off that. Research 3,000 science. Okay. This is not. So my total science is 1,300. So I don't know if that's good or not. Let's upgrade that guy. Upgrade that guy. So the upgrades also escalate in cost as you ramp up. We're now looking at 700 biomass, so let's try and get some to land in range of this collector. And they're blowing that way. There not being like a wind indicator is really messing with me here. But the wind seems to be this way or this way. It doesn't... Well, I might actually be lying. Oh, well, that looked like it. Like, I don't think this is coming across on a stream super well because, like, some of it is tiny little dots of things growing. I'm just spamming the hell out of this. Alright, so somewhere there's going to be... They're all blowing this way. This is weird. So I can unlock some more plant genes. Now if I go to my... Where's my custom plant? Where is my custom plant? Maybe I have to... Oh, I have to open the genetic panel to open the thing. So I've got my life expectancy slider and an absorption rate slider now for doing those unlocks. I don't know what that means, so let's ramp that one up and let's give it a long life expectancy, but let's make it a bit smaller for funsies. And we'll spam a bunch of that. Those look like they're going more or less straight down. Let's... So I was expecting this. So let me just pull up the store page on this guy. So, Intelligent Design and Evolutionary Sandbox is an abstract god game with fully simulated genetics and evolution. Get creative playing at your own pace as you experiment with the simulation of an ecosystem. But remember, when you start tampering with genetics, it's hard to undo your mistakes. Now, as much as that sounds cool, like that's not really what we're doing. We're not really doing anything with genetics here. We've got fucking sliders, and sliders are not genes. If they were, then designer babies would be awfully easier to kind of deal with. So saying that there's a full genetic system feels really fucking disingenuous, to be honest. Alright, so my next things are research herbivore genes. So I've probably got enough plants that I can spawn a few more herbivores. I've got a thing for 10 herbivores in the wild and research. Herbivores are fucking aggressively, I don't don't know. At this point, I'm just fucking spamming. 24 herbivores actually seems like it's very hard to keep them fueled. So Deathbow's asking if it's possible to aid in the seeds and spell out a word. I think it might be, but one of the things is that when you spawn it, there's like a random wind shear applied to the seed. So you would need to be really specific about how you were doing that, I guess. They're like, look how fast that number's going down with only 27 herbivores. So I'm gonna have to keep them fueled by like spamming the shit out of these plants. Deathbow says that she's never met an aggressive vegetarian in her life unless they skip their espresso, and that's a fairly fair point. But oh, jeez. Okay, so we got 10 herbivores born in the wild. Like the completion on these goals is really not great in terms of how it gets communicated out. Like, I don't even think there's an audio ping for it. I don't know what's causing that kind of failure beep either, but clearly something is. So the herbivore population is going up, which is probably a good thing, but that means that I can't spam this button fast enough. I guess I can turn the time acceleration around. There's a science unlock available. Unlock plant genes. Unlock plant gene 1 available. Oh, so this is giving me like a bonus, I guess. Alright, bring up the genetic panel again and let's look at custom plants. I don't know what any of it. So let's crank metabolism up. Let's crank root range way up and see what happens. I don't know what any of that does. But so there's a basic intelligence driving something here, because those herbivores are actually moving around. There's 51 of the fuckers now. I'm going to throw in some random plants now. So, you know, it's important to consider, like, okay, well, what's driving those herbivores? It looks like it's a very simple kind of like, they are headed towards where plants are, so it's more of a feeding kind of thing. It feels like I'm a step away from something interesting, but I am a step away from it. I'm going to throw out a couple of carnivores just for fun. And now let's turn up the time dilation and see what happens. So, one thing that has definitely happened is that the simulation is running like dog shit. So with 5 carnivores, so the carnivores are here, they're purple, and they're chasing down herbivores. But at least I think that's what they're doing. There's now 10 carnivores. Oh, I dropped 2 loads. I think we're going to be left with very few herbivores very shortly. But you can feel that the simulation is running harder. And that kind of speaks to some not great stuff going on in the back end, I suspect. So we're down to 5 carnivores. We've lost some herbivores with that. We've actually lost most of those plants. You just can't spam the plants fast enough to keep up with a herbivore population. Like, well, I say that and I immediately spam plants fast enough to keep up with the herbivore population. So, what do I want? Like, let's put down another research station, maybe. Or 2. We've got loads of biomass, which also feels like a bit of a problem. Like, I want more something. So there just doesn't seem to be much of a game here, and because of that, it's really hard to, like, you know, honestly, I thought that we were looking at something that was going to be a bit artificial lifey. And there's kind of a very simple predator-prey thing going on. But it's almost like an idle game in some ways. Like, the more I can spam this button, the more plants I get. The more plants I get, the more herbivores will feed and reproduce. And the more herbivores will feed and reproduce, the more kind of stuff I've got for carnivores. I've got a goal for, oh no, that was a performance target met. So I guess it's crossing off performance targets in the background, sort of giving me achievement unlocked rather than waiting for me to actually have them ready to go. We've got a science unlock available. I bet we've actually got a couple. So we can unlock a herbivore gene. We can unlock a plant gene. Let's take a second herbivore gene. Let's jump back over to the genetic panel and see what that's given us. So max speed and turning speed are the sliders that we've been given access to for herbivores. And we also got competitiveness for plants. Is there any... So I'm hovering here, not getting an explanation. Here, not getting an explanation. So there's no fatui around, like, what even these genes, let's fucking air quote the shit out of that, because these are not genes, these are sliders. So we're up to 250 herbivores now. And we're out of carnivores, which is weird. And wow. So the performance of this drone has just dropped to next to nothing. And getting up close and personal, well, oh, it might be the effects. It might be the effects that have caused it to slow down. There's a lot of herbivores. There's no carnivores, but like, there's no explanation of where plants come from. Like, other than literally sitting and spamming this button, which seems like a miss. This ought to be. Oh, so it's probably tied to. It's doing a. Is it doing some physics simulation on each of the seeds that are dropping here? Maybe. Yeah, that feels like when they drop away, that's when it speeds up, maybe. There's definitely some performance issues here, which are not great. I don't know that I can make this game go 2 hours. There's just not enough fucking there. And what would I talk about? Like, there's no... These look like fairly simple flocking behaviors. So flocking behaviors are fairly interesting. The canonical flocking behavior is around birds, and the replicant version of that is boids, which probably Deathbow is cracking up that I'm just saying birds in a New York accent or something. But the point of boids is to articulate a flock of birds, but to have them kind of follow fairly straightforward rules. So the canonical example of these boids is one boy. Oh crap! I'm gonna misremember this. Let me look it up. I think the other name for this is Reynolds steering behavior. Yeah, so the Boyd's model is the Reynolds steering behavior. And let's... effectively, the way it works is that you can articulate how... let me see if I can find the states. Right, so the three original flocking rules are separation. So that speaks to how far how close two boids are allowed to get together. So they've got to stay within a certain amount of distance. There's a concept of cohesion, which is basically keeping the flock together. And you measure cohesion as your distance from the centroid of the flock. And then there's alignment, which basically says that if the flock is moving this way, you're allowed plus or minus an amount as an individual, but you have to be kind of within those tolerances. If you take those three flocking rules, you will actually see that you get this kind of group that kind of compactifies and stretches and kind of moves left and right and kind of, but generally follows this kind of basic flock pattern. If that's not what's driving these guys, I will eat my hat. Look at how these three are moving. There's some sort of flock happening with those three. There's a flock happening over here. I would be shocked if this wasn't how this is being driven. For those of you who want to read a little bit more about flocking, there seems to be a great looking lecture from Carnegie Mellon, and I'll drop that PDF in the chat right now. And then I'll come back to this and see if we can work out. We've got 350. Well, I'm interested in seeing what the reviews have been. Yeah, the reviews are very mixed. And honestly, chat, I think we can do better with our evening. I'm actually gonna save an exit. This is not doing what it says on the tin. It's not giving a genetic experience. It's not really giving an evolutionary experience. It's giving a veneer of those things, but it's not actually really delivering. And because of that, let's not waste any more time on it. However, with that said, I don't actually have anything to swap over to, so let's see what I've got installed right now that we can talk about, because that was just not great. I want to do a full session on Factorio, so I'm not going to jump into that right now. Oh, well, here's where we can go to. So there's a game called, I'm just going to update my Twitch information over here. There's a game called Niche, which is a genetic survival game. Niche is by a pretty cool group in, I want to say, Sweden, but I could be wrong. And I believe I kickstarted this game. One of the lead designers was an IGDA scholar, which is how it got on my radar. And I need to change over my game capture to the new. So we are now on Niche. So Niche calls itself a genetic survival game. Ooh, that's weird. Right. Well, let's. Niche calls itself a 4:3 aspect ratio, which is odd. All right, cool. Let's play this. So I've played a little bit, so I'm going to go into sandbox mode. I've played this for about 20 minutes, maybe. It's more of a board game feel, but it keeps in with the kind of idea of genetics and kind of evolution, I guess. Honestly, I'm surprised at the extent to which kind of like the artificial life thing kind of died away. So, you know, creatures I was talking about earlier, and that was pretty cool. There was a game released by Microsoft that was kind of very much an arcade version of it, but you know what? I think I've forgotten how to play this game. This is kind of cool. Look at how the heads are moving as you're moving the mouse around. So this one, let's move him there and then there. So this is a kind of cool hexy type thing where you kind of command your little dudes to do stuff. And I think it's turn. I should really have paid more attention and maybe done the tutorial again. So I have 2 beaters. Oh, there we go. End the day. So this guy can move over here. And this one can move over here. So the idea is kind of you're exploring this world, and we lost a bit of food for taking the end of the day. And it's all about kind of the genes are a little bit more well rendered here. So you've got medium ears, you've got ram, but you could also have antlers. You could have a whole bunch of things, but that means that as you kind of, I think as you breed these little things together, you get the option to kind of steer the evolution of the future. So I can look at the family tree, and this is Anala, and this is Anala's characteristics, and this is Anala's genome. And then this is Kurato, Kurota, K. K has 3 action points. He's a beta, and he has a bunch of characteristics. And this is also his genome. So we've got a male and a female, so you can figure out what goes on next. We've used all but one of her hit points. We've got a bit of nesting material for cutting down some grass there, and we can get some fruit back from that bush. Okay. So let's end the day. So we can offer some food to this guy, or we can attack. We just found some food, so I'm quite happy offering some. And now this one is also in my tribe. A little bit kind of bribery never went amiss, I guess. So we've now got 3 characters here, 3 characters, animals, I guess. And this is the island that we're working with. So we probably want to start thinking about putting down a nest, and I don't actually know how to do that. Alright, so that's the end of day 3. So, trying to figure out how to kind of set things together and get these little animals kind of doing more interesting things. Like, obviously we want to move on to the if I say we want to move on to the breeding stage, then that sounds super creepy. But that's probably where this goes. But we probably need a nest in order to do that, and I don't know how one builds a nest. So we've got different sensors. I don't know what that does. He's out of action points, she's out of action points, and she's out of action points. Okay, in the day. Alright, out of action points again. Wonder why I can't build a nest. There's probably some reason. I have a feeling it has something to do with these flowers, but I don't really know. Let's just continue to explore, I guess. There's like a prickly pear type situation there. But we definitely need some food. So taking fruit from this prickly tree wasn't a good idea, but we are refilled on food now, which is good. Well, I have a button here to mate, so she's So I guess we're having animal babies soon. That's nice. Rest a night on a nest to give birth. So I guess we need to figure out how to build a nest. Alright. I'm still doing good for food. I wonder if that a nest? Build a nest. Okay, there we go. So she's got her nest. Move there and Oh, we don't have enough materials for another nest. So... Alright. Alright, we've got the little sprogling here. So we've got to look after it through being a baby. Don't seem to be getting much in the way of nesting materials out of trying to harvest this dry grass. Oh look, we've got a friend. We're going to be short on food in a minute. I don't know that we want to bring a baby in. So what's interesting here is kind of the way that the genetic material here is much more obviously exposed, but at the same time, like, there's some mutant kind of stuff going on, and like thematically it's a lot better explained and kind of realized than in the previous game. That said, obviously there's a lot less kind of agency. Well, sorry, there's a lot less autonomy is the word I was really looking for, around like what is happening and how it's happening, and kind of the control. Like it feels like as a player I have a lot more kind of input and kind of drive over what's happening here. So I'm trying to collect enough material for a second nest, but at the same time I'm also trying to keep my food stores supplied. And that's a little bit of a problem because I'm now up to 4 animals. What the? Something's attacking. What the hell? What are you? Well, I wasn't fucking expecting that. That's bullshit. Alright. That guy's dead. Fuck that guy. But in killing him, we did at least get some good amount of meat. Oops. I think it's all about to go sideways here. So Notaro is now an adult, which is kind of cool. So he can start pulling his weight. Wait, Notaro was always an adult, maybe? Let's look at the family tree. Okay, Notaro is the child of Kurota and Anola. And Mais is the child of Kuroto and Kokora. So that's cool. And that kind of gives you the genetic markers. Yellow fur there, coming from, well, black fur, red fur, yellow fur. So it got, the inherited yellow fur came from this one's mother. This one inherited the white and black trait from black from there probably, and white from there, and that's cool. So that's showing how like the combinatorics of the genetic system are kind of not entirely predictable, but also can be kind of steered, which is really kind of useful to understand. So I'll be honest, stream, this might be all I've got for tonight. There's still not a whole lot of AI systems going on here, and that's my bad. I probably should be picking better games, but honestly, that intelligent design sandbox thing sounded amazing. It sounded like exactly what we were looking for, and I have to say, like, I did actually, for once, spend the time. I found the game this morning. I downloaded it. I flicked over to the stream. I input all the stuff around what I was going to be, talking about, and then that's a really disappointing kind of game, because like it claims to be this sandbox simulation, and it really is just a toy. And like it's cute for a little bit, but it's not at all what we were looking for. And the kind of level of genetic fidelity that there is in this game, which is, like I say, it's called Niche, a genetic survival game. And I'd strongly encourage you to pick it up, because there is kind of much more of a game here. And it's actually quite interesting. It's maybe not an astounding example of like game AI systems. You saw those NPCs just kind of came in and attacked some shit, and one of them ran off. So, you know, I'm never going to be particularly enamored with NPC logic. I don't think it adds anything except incremental value to games, and as a result, what I tend to do is try to focus on other things and ways that AI can contribute to games beyond just NPCs. So I think I'm going to leave it there. It's been a little over an hour, so I know it's a little bit of short change versus what we were supposed to be doing today. There was no stream last weekend because I was in Austin, and I was trying to look at get around property, thinking about maybe buying a house in Austin, maybe moving to Austin, but maybe not moving to Austin. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but certainly it seemed like the right personal move for me was to at least go and look at some houses. Turns out that's fucking exhausting, and I didn't really know that. So my big takeaway from this weekend was, if you have to look at 40 different houses in the space of 4 days, that's going to be a really draining experience, and I'm actually a little bit still not over it. So I think it's a good opportunity to kind of take a pause, come back to this. On Sunday, we're going to be back here on the stream. I'm going to quit this to get the music out of my ears for a second so I can hear myself think. I'm going to switch over to that. So that's the end of the thing for tonight. Thank you very much to the people who've been in the chat, to Deathbow. I think I saw Kufuku in the user list. But we've had a good few people playing along in the home game. For those of you who are still around, please, you can follow us on Twitter at Gaming Eye Show, or on Facebook /Gaming Eye Show, so facebook.com/Gaming Eye Show. Please follow us here on Twitch, which is obviously you're watching it right now, so you know where it is. But just to reiterate, it's twitch.tv/Gaming Eye Show. I'm really looking forward to getting some new art assets. And the theme song that we're playing now has been edited recently. It is by Deathbow, who's been in the chat tonight. Big shout out to her for this amazing audio. We've got a few different theme songs that we're playing with, getting some feedback, getting some iterations. I would love to see any comments that you have. And otherwise, we're going to be back on Sunday. That's going to be 11 a.m. and I'm going to probably figure out what we're going to play in the next couple of days. We might stay with Hitman. We might continue that deep dive into that NPC logic. It's possible I might also swap over and look at doing something else. One of the things that I'm actually, the more that I kind of dig in on this, the more that there are some really disappointing things. So I need to kind of spend a bit of time and figure out what's going to make for a really good AI-centric stream. And it's hard. It's hard because a lot of games are kind of scrimping on their AI. They're kind of very focused on this NPC logic. They're not necessarily looking at the broader possibilities, and that makes me really sad. For those of you who are coming out to GDC next month, we will be talking about these and more topics as part of the AI Summit. I'm now up to 4, oh my fucking god, 4 sessions as part of the AI Summit. I'll post what that schedule looks like once I've got actual times. We are going to be doing, my main session is called Beyond NPCs, AI for Game Operations. That's going to be about how you can use AI systems to drive better business decisions and better operations decisions within your kind of game studio. I'm also going to be doing one of the micro talks, which is the Turing Tantrums AI Devs Rant session. So I'll be getting a little bit angry about some of the topics that I talk about, particularly focused around the extent to which other things other than NPCs are interesting opportunities for AI. You can also find me on the simplest AI trick in the book session. That's going to be really interesting. There's going to be a couple of us presenting some simple AI solutions that we found really powerful for us in the past. And then the final session, session number 4, is actually the one that I'm most excited about. It's called Ethics for Artificial Intelligence. It's going to be a panel session. We've got a great lineup on that panel. It's going to be moderated by Alicia Leidecker. Alicia is former AI lead for the Assassin's Creed franchise. She's now interaction director for Magic Leap, which is a really cool transition and opportunity for her. We're going to be joined by Tiffany West, who is part of the Unity Labs team. In fact, she may even be director for the Unity Labs team. We're going to be joined by Celia Hodent, who's a UX designer and previously at Epic, where she worked on the Fortnite UX, and also Emily Short from Spirit AI. It's going to be a fantastic lineup, so please do not miss that if you're coming to GDC. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I will see you, like I say, 11 o'clock on Sunday. Stay tuned to all our social media. Stay tuned to the Twitch channel. And thank you very much for coming out this evening.